When he was only 2 years old, James Leininger became very interested in planes. But what started out as a natural interest soon became quite sinister. James would wake up screaming at night with vivid nightmares of flying over the ocean, only to be shot down by enemy fire. These dreams were about a World War II fighter pilot named James Huston Jr., who was killed in action over the Pacific Ocean. The little James would give his parents detailed accounts of a World War II fighter pilot's life, details that a young child wouldn't typically know. His parents started to do some research and were shocked to find that there really was a pilot named James Huston, who died just as their son described 50 years ago in Japan during World War II. The case of James Leininger garnered a lot of interest, and many, including his parents, saw it as evidence of reincarnation. But this isn't the only documented case. There are many stories from around the world that can be seen as evidence of reincarnation. Researchers such as Dr. Ian Stevenson and Dr. Jim Tucker have compiled hundreds of cases of children from various cultural backgrounds who recall details of past lives. These children describe experiences, places, and people from times and locations often far removed from their present life, providing astonishingly specific details that they couldn't have easily accessed or learned. So, what is reincarnation and where did it originate? Reincarnation is the belief that a person's soul or consciousness will be reborn in a new body after their death. In this context, life, death, and rebirth are cyclical. While reincarnation might seem like a strange and even unusual belief in the modern Western world, it has existed for thousands of years in the East. In fact, it's so much a part of everyday life in countries like Sri Lanka, India, and Nepal. Stories of reincarnation are common here. For example, some people take extra care not to kill insects and bugs in case they pay for it in their next life. Terms like past life, next life, and rebirth are part of the daily discourse. But this isn't really surprising, because after all, the concept of reincarnation is embedded in many of the Eastern religions, including Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism. Of these religions, Hinduism is the oldest and has the most comprehensive and diverse set of teachings and scriptures discussing reincarnation. The oldest religious texts of Hinduism, the Vedas, hint at the idea of a cycle of life, death, and rebirth. However, it is in the Upanishads' later philosophical texts that the concept of reincarnation becomes more explicit. In the context of Hindu philosophy, reincarnation is closely tied to the law of karma, where the actions of an individual in their lifetime determine the circumstances of their next life. If you do good things, you accumulate enough merit to earn yourself a comfortable life, while bad deeds can result in a downward turn in the cycle of samsara, aka the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. This could lead to being reborn in a lower realm, possibly as an animal or even in a tormenting hell realm. This understanding acts as a moral compass, guiding individuals to live righteously, be compassionate, and avoid harm to others. Ultimately, the goal is not just to secure a better next life, but to transcend this cycle entirely, achieving the spiritual liberation of moksha or nirvana. In Buddhism, the idea is slightly different and is often referred to as rebirth rather than reincarnation, as there is no permanent soul or self to be reincarnated. The Buddhist doctrine of anatta or anatman suggests a continuous process of rebirth that is dependent on one's actions or karma, but not a fixed, unchanging self being reborn. Jainism, another ancient Indian religion, also incorporates a belief in reincarnation. In Jain philosophy, every living being has a soul which is potentially divine, and the goal is to realize this divinity by shedding accumulated karma through ethical living and spiritual practices. The soul then continues to be reborn until it achieves liberation, moksha, from the cycle. According to Sikh beliefs, the soul goes through various cycles of births and deaths, known as transmigration, until it merges back with the Supreme Soul, Waheguru. This union, similar to the concept of moksha in Hinduism, is the ultimate goal and can be achieved through living a virtuous life and following the teachings of the gurus. It's worth noting that while reincarnation is typically associated with Eastern philosophies, ideas resembling reincarnation have also appeared in Western traditions. For instance, certain sects of Gnosticism, Pythagoreanism, and even early Christianity entertained the notion of the soul's return. However, these views were typically considered heretical in the context of mainstream Western religious thought, which tends to emphasize linear rather than cyclical views of life, death, and the afterlife. The Abrahamic religions, which are Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, don't hold reincarnation as a central tenet in their beliefs. They believe that time is linear and each soul has a singular and unique existence. In Christianity, the doctrine of resurrection is predominant, in which it is believed that after death, believers will be resurrected at the end of times. This belief is different from reincarnation, as it doesn't involve a cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, but a one-time resurrection of the body. Similarly, in Islam, the focus is on the belief in a day of judgment and resurrection. The individual soul is judged according to its deeds in life, and then either rewarded in paradise or punished in hell. This is a linear perception of life, death, and the afterlife. In Judaism, beliefs about the afterlife can vary significantly among different groups. While reincarnation is not a mainstream Jewish belief, it is a part of some Jewish mystical traditions, particularly within Kabbalah and some Hasidic sects. The idea of reincarnation is primarily a spiritual or religious belief and falls outside the realm of empirical science, which deals with observable phenomena and testable predictions. This isn't something that can be measured or observed directly with current scientific tools or methodologies. However, there have been attempts to study reported cases of past life memories, particularly in children. Dr. Ian Stevenson, a psychiatrist at the University of Virginia, and his successor, Dr. Jim Tucker, have documented thousands of cases in which young children reported memories that they claim are from past lives. These researchers approach their work with rigorous scientific methods, and in some cases they have been able to find a deceased person whose life matches the details given by the child. Skeptics argue that there could be other explanations for these phenomena, including fraud, fantasy, or information the children have unconsciously picked up from their surroundings. There are lively debates on the topic, and academics sparring through published journal articles, like this following statement, which was the conclusion of Tucker's rebuttal of a critic's analysis of the James Leininger case. Nonetheless, his paper, in its own strange way, represents a significant contribution. Sudduth has demonstrated that the case is so strong that a determined critic can devote endless time and energy trying to debunk it and still not make a dent in it. His accomplishment is marred only by his inability to see what he has done. The idea of reincarnation challenges many fundamental concepts in neuroscience and biology. For instance, it's not clear how memories could be transferred from one life to another after the death and decomposition of the brain, which is currently understood to be the organ responsible for memory. As such, reincarnation as a concept poses significant philosophical and practical questions that are yet to be resolved. However, as our understanding of consciousness, memory, and life itself continues to evolve, our perspective on such topics may also change. Until then, reincarnation remains a topic of personal belief and philosophical debate rather than established scientific fact. What do you think? Is reincarnation real, and will science eventually catch up? Or can all this be explained in some other way? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to our channel. It helps the mysterious algorithm do its things so we can continue to make more videos like this. Thanks for watching.